Burning Question, presented by Nissan Magnite, powered by Amity University.
UP police releases photos of 40 rioters involved in Kanpur clashes. Photos of 40 rioters identified in the Kanpur clashes have been pasted across the city with the police. Republic accesses Kanpur violence masterminds WhatsApp chats. Chats reveal clashes were pre-planned. A video shows the main accused in Kanpur clashes in a meeting with several organization leaders. Were clashes planned during this meeting? It has come to light that petrol was bought in bottles which may have been used to make crude bombs and used during the clashes. Good evening. You're watching Burning Question. I'm Sucharita Kukreti. The total number of arrests related to Kanpur clashes has reached 38. But these were not the only people involved in the violence. And nowadays, after violence broke out, the police released a poster today that has visuals of the CCTV footage of as many as 40 suspects that took part in the June 3rd law and order incident. The police have reached out to the masses for help, but the lobby is silent. There have been evidence indicating that the clashes may be premeditated, but the lobby is again silent. There are videos, WhatsApp chats hinting that the clashes may have been planned much in advance, but the lobby is silent. Why? Why can't we raise for once a genuine question over who's trying to disrupt peace? We debate on that after this report.
On June 3rd, clashes broke out in the city of Kanpur when people covering their faces, carrying sticks in hand, tried to shut down the shutters of this commercial town. Stones were pelted, crude bombs were thrown. Several got injured. The main conspirator, Hayat Zafar Hashmi, has been arrested. But something else has also come under police observation. This video is from 2 days before the clashes took place. And several WhatsApp messages have surfaced. Messages that talk of a market shutdown. Petrol was allegedly purchased beforehand to make crude bombs, which were used during the clashes.
इस वक्त हम मौजूद हैं उस पेट्रोल पंप में जहां से बोतल में पेट्रोल लेकर जो प्रदर्शनकारी थे वो गए थे, जिसके बाद वहां उपद्रवियों ने पेट्रोल जो बम है उसका भी इस्तेमाल किया था। हालांकि कल इस पेट्रोल पंप को सील कर दिया गया है, क्योंकि जिस तरह से डीवीआर में देखा गया, सीसीटीवी में साफ तौर पर सामने आया कि यहीं से जो पेट्रोल पंप है उससे लोगों ने पेट्रोल जो है बॉटल्स में लिया था।
All these clues make one wonder, were the clashes pre-planned? The police have released images of 40 Kanpur rioters.
देखिए किस तरह से पुलिस जो है पोस्टर्स लगा रही है। ये उन्हीं उपद्रवियों के पोस्टर हैं जिनके फोटोज आज पुलिस ने रिलीज करी हैं, और उसके बाद अब तक इस पूरे मामले में 38 लोगों की अरेस्टिंग हो चुकी है और 40 लोगों को जो चिन्हित किया गया है सीसीटीवी के माध्यम से, और उनके पोस्टर्स को आज यहाँ पर पुलिस चिपका रही है।
The hunt is on, but the lobby is silent once again. Why and who's trying to disrupt peace in Kanpur? Let's debate.
आप तो सही में जीनियस निकली, इतनी सॉलिड प्लानिंग मुझे फंसाने के लिए।
अगले 7 दिन में मैं तेरा काला चिट्टा सबके सामने खोलने वाली।
देखिए अपने फेवरेट शोज टीवी से पहले, वो भी एड फ्री। अभी देखिए ZEE5 ऐप पर।
Joining me on Burning Burning Question tonight. Let me introduce Supreme Court Advocate Deshratan Nigam joins us on Burning Question. Professor Geeta Bhatt, political analyst, joins us on the debate. Sujata Pandey, political analyst, joins us from Mumbai. I have Syed Masoodul Hassan, former Vice President of the AMU Students' Union, joining us on Burning Question. Huzaifa Amir Rashidi will join us soon, leader of Rashtriya Ulema Council, and Dr. Lubna Kamal, who's a professor at State Jawaharlal Nehru Homeopathic Medical College, live from Lucknow. Thank you so much for joining. Let me begin with Syed Masoodul Hassan. Hassan Saab, it's a very simple question that I'm going to be asking. Why don't I hear voices condemning Kanpur, condemning the violence? There was violence on 3rd. No one spoke about it. There are pictures now out. No one seems to be condemning it and saying, put these people behind bars, put them in jail. We don't want any of these rioters.
Basically, these kind of riots should be condemned, and I condemn that, first of all. And the another thing is that the provocating remarks of Nupur Sharma and Naveen Jindal make these kind of environment in Kanpur and whole of India. And till 10 days, the BJP is sleeping on that statement. And when this Qatar, Kuwait, Iran and other Gulf countries pointed out the mistake of their national spokesperson, that they should apologize, they call the Indian government that Indian government should apologize publicly. That was the biggest shame to the nation which BJP brings to this country.
Okay.
So if the Nupur Sharma and Naveen Jindal put behind,
I just want to ask you one question. Syed Masoodul Hassan, any kind of disrespect for any religion is wrong. Any kind of disrespect for any religion is wrong, and we stand by it.
Exactly.
But the question, the primary question that I'm trying to ask you is that you want to ask questions, that is perfectly fine. But why not condemn this kind of action? You're again putting disclaimers to what you're saying. Why put disclaimers? Why don't you just say that this kind of violence is not right?
On my first remark, on my first statement, I said that rights and these kind of rights should be condemned.
But there are ifs and buts to that, sir. There are ifs and buts to that. You said this happened because of that. Why is any kind of violence right? Whatever be the justification, sir, whatever be the justification, are we going to be accepting violence on the streets and think that, okay, fine, this is because of this, so it's happening?
I'm just trying to say that if Nupur Sharma and Naveen Jindal should be put behind bars before this happened in Kanpur, then it will not happen anywhere else. This is a simple point I'm making here.
Ma'am, okay. Now let me give it a different perspective. Geeta Bhatt, I'm coming across to you. Now there is no straightforward condemning of rioters happening. That is very clear. And now, if there were disrespectful remarks made for other communities, I'll come back to you. I'll come back to you, Hassan sir. If there were disrespectful comments made for other communities, everyone should take to the roads. Everyone should take to violence.
Well, Suchirata ji, you see, if you remember when Jayanti procession was being taken out in New Delhi, at that time there was so much of hue and cry by a selective lobby, accusing that the action has not been taken out when the people who are out on the streets, and in the procession they were, they had certain lathis or something in their hand. Now, again the same selective lobby today, when in Kanpur is where there was arson happening, rioting happening, we all have seen it, and it was pre-planned. It is very clear, it's in the CCTV footage. One can see how all the stone pelleting stones were collected, and they were, kept on carts, vegetable carts. So there was definitely a pre-planning, and one can also see that there are larger forces involved in it. The way political party and their representatives are coming out and trying to justify taking law and order, not only taking law and order in their hands, but rather causing this kind of a rioting in Kanpur is really surprising. You see, Samajwadi Party, Mr. Abu Azmi has come out and he's justifying it. He's saying that this is absolutely fine. If any kind of a protest has to be registered, it can be registered. Every Indian citizen has a right to do it.
Is it fine, Huzaifa sir? Let me go across to Huzaifa. Huzaifa sahab, is it fine?
There is an IPC and
Not
based
just
on that IPC,
forget condemning. We will say that this is right. This is what is going to happen. Huzaifa sahab, ये निंदा तो छोड़ दीजिए, बोलेंगे कि हाँ ऐसा ही होगा. कौन कर रहा है भाई ये?
किसने कहा कि ऐसे ही होगा? मैं थोड़ा सा लेट ज्वाइन किया आपको.
देखिए हुज़ैफा साहब, आपने गीता भट्ट जी को सुना?
नहीं, मैंने सुना नहीं. आप थोड़ा सा बताएंगे क्या बोला उन्होंने?
अच्छा, मुझे सिर्फ, चलिए आप छोड़ दीजिए उन्होंने क्या बोला, उससे मैं बात नहीं कर रही. मैं आपसे पूछ रही हूँ कि जो लोग दिन भर प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंसेस करते हैं, ट्विटर पे ट्वीट करते हैं, वो एक बार ये नहीं लिखते हैं इनको पकड़ के जेल में डालिए, ये हिंसा फैला रहे हैं, दंगा फैला रहे हैं. उसमें क्या बहुत समय लग जाता है सर.
इसी तरह दंगा कौन फैला रहा है?
ये कानपुर में क्या हो रहा था? कानपुर में क्या जश्न हो रहा था सर? कानपुर में सड़क पर क्या हो रहा था?
अब सुनिएगा, 1 मिनट विदाउट इंटरप्शन सुनिएगा. सबसे पहले सवाल ये
बोलिए सर, आपको तो अभी हिंसा भी नहीं दिख रही है, मुझे समझ नहीं आ रहा आप बोलेंगे क्या.
जी 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 सुनिए तो मैं बताता हूँ हिंसा कहाँ से हो रही है. सबसे पहले सवाल ये पैदा होता है कि हमें इसकी जड़ में जाना चाहिए, आखिर किन वजह से जो है इस तरह की हरकतें हुई कानपुर में. अगर ये जो कार्रवाई कल किया है बीजेपी ने, उसको बीजेपी ने अपना ऑफिशियल लेटर पैड में बोला है कि एंटी सोशल एलिमेंट और फ्रिंज, एंटी सोशल फ्रिंज क्या क्या बोला है. अगर ये कार्रवाई वक्त रहते हो गई होती, 10 दिन पहले हो गई होती, तो कानपुर जैसी घटनाएं नहीं होती. और जहां कानपुर का आप पूरा एक उठा करके एक समुदाय पे आप उसको छोड़ देंगी कि एक समुदाय के लोगों ने किया. ये बीजेपी के बड़े चेहरा है प्रशांत उमराव, मैं आपको दिखा रहा हूँ, उनका ट्वीट था, ये बात में ट्वीट कर दिया उन्होंने, जिसमें वो लिखते हैं कि कानपुर में हिंदू पक्ष ने भी बराबरी से जवाब में पत्थर चलाए हैं. यह एक शुभ सूचना है. पुलिस से अधिक समाज की कार्रवाई महत्व की होती है. पुलिस की शक्ति सीमित होती है और जागरूक समाज की शक्ति असीमित होती है. तो सवाल ये पैदा होता है कि ये सुप्रीम कोर्ट में गोवा के,
अरे तो हुज़ैफा साहब, you say ना, हुज़ैफा साहब, what I'm trying to say is, you say that whoever did it should be put behind bars. You're not even saying that, irrespective of religion, Huzzaifa, irrespective of religion. Why don't you say this? Put them behind bars. Because we will not tolerate this kind of violence on the streets in the country. No.
तो मुझे बोल लेने दीजिए, मैं रोज नहीं आता हूँ, आज आया हूँ, आप लोग.
हाँ बोलिए ना सर, बोलिए. मैं तो कह रही हूँ सर, कोई भी हो, दंगाई का धर्म नहीं है सर.
हाँ तो बिल्कुल अच्छी बात आपने कि दंगाई का धर्म नहीं है. तो कार्रवाई एक तरफा की होगी, गिरफ्तारी सिर्फ मुसलमानों को की होगी, पूरा मुसलमानों को क्यों एक्यूज बनाया जाएगा? क्या ये पत्थर नहीं चला रहे थे? ये सुप्रीम कोर्ट के में सरकारी वकील भी है गोवा के, हिंसा को बढ़ावा देते हुए स्पष्ट कर रहे हैं कि हिंदू
have you
ये खुद
हुज़ैफा साहब, सब लोग ना व्हाट्सएप चैट दिखा रहे हैं, प्लानिंग हो रही है. ये नहीं कहा जा रहा है कि दूसरी तरफ से पत्थर फेंके जा रहे हैं. प्लानिंग हो रही है, इंशाल्लाह ये बंद करा देंगे. यहाँ मार्केट बंद हो गया. These kind of WhatsApp messages were going around. I really don't know if you've seen this. आपने देखा नहीं है क्या?
मैडम आपके साथ प्रॉब्लम ये है कि आप सुनती नहीं है, सिर्फ बोलती हैं. बुलाया तो सुनिए भी, थोड़ा सा सुनिए भी. ये उनकी पार्टी का आदमी खुद एक्सेप्ट कर रहा है कि
सर मेरे साथ बहुत दिक्कतें हैं सर बहुत दिक्कतें हैं मेरे साथ, लेकिन जो दिखता है वो बोलती हूँ मैं. सबसे बड़ी दिक्कत ये है.
तो क्या उनपे कोई मुकदमा होगा? क्या उनपे कोई स्टिंग ऑपरेशन होगा? क्या कार्रवाई होगी उनपे? रात में उनके इलाकों में भी घुस करके लाठियां चलाई जाएंगी, उनके घर के दरवाजे तोड़े जाएंगे, उनपे बुलडोजर चलाया जाएगा, उनपे नशे लगाया जाएगा, या सिर्फ मुसलमानों को लगाएंगे? फुटबॉल समझ लिया मुसलमानों को, पैर की जूती समझा मुसलमानों को.
मुझे बताइए, एक सेकंड मुझे बताइए. देशरत्न निगम, let me get into the debate, sir. Mr. Nigam, let me get into the debate. Now Huzzaifa very clearly saying that the writers were from both sides. I am not even contesting the facts, sir. But there was a complete planning. There were posters being put out. A protest was being organized, but then the protest went violent and there were celebrations on WhatsApp groups. And there were videos being circulated that we've got these markets shut down. And this is what is happening. Now I'm just trying to say who was organizing all this, sir. Mr. Nigam, I'll go to Deshrata Nigam, sir, then I'll come across. Lubna ji, I'll come to you. Mr. Nigam,
सुचारिता जी, शांत हो जाए. सवाल मुझसे पूछा गया है.
हुज़ैफा साहब, ये आप नहीं, ये हम, मुझे लगता है ये हर भारतीय को करना चाहिए. We all need to condemn any kind of disrespectful comments on anybody's religion.
Exactly.
and it ends at that. We do not support and we will condemn. But then you cannot take to streets, sir. And it is true for everyone.
बिल्कुल मैडम मगर
okay, Mr. Nigam, let him make his point, then I'll come across. Let Mr. Nigam make his point, then I'll come back again. मुझे पता है आप जस्ट वापस आ रही हो, एक मिनट रुक जाइए. बोलिए निगम साहब बोलिए, please. Mr. Nigam.
Sucharita ji, let us be very clear about the facts. It happened after the Jumme ki namaz. And what was said in the mosque, it has to be investigated why these people suddenly became violent. One. There is a clear pattern and premeditation, intentional and pre-planning, because petrol bombs do not suddenly materialize. Tons of stones suddenly do not materialize. There was firing also from kattas, which is the homemade, firing weapon, and other weapons were used. And this does not happen overnight, especially on a day when there was a prime minister, the CM and the president of the country in the same city. So it gives you a larger plan conspiracy. One. Secondly, if you look at the pattern from Mopla riots 1921 to Kanpur riots in 1931, people have forgotten in 1931 Kanpur riots where my family was displaced. Our houses were taken away and we had to begin from a scratch. And if you look at the pattern at the Delhi riots which happened, or the Ram Navami pelting stones that had taken place, or the Bengaluru riots or Chandni Chowk Mandir desecration case, you will find a similar pattern. The pattern starts on a Friday after the namaz and the attacks take place. What is said in these mosques is required to be investigated. It's very important because there is a pattern. I am not saying that somebody has done it or not, but it is a subject matter of investigation. And if you recall, there was huge amount of desecration and derogatory things were said about Shivling, but nobody took to violence. Please remember, the people went to the court. They took the due process of law. So far as Nupur Sharma is concerned, there were numerous FIRs. The process of law is going on out there. And you have...
But Nupur Sharma is still out.
Of law.
Right. Dr. Lubna,
Nupur Sharma
let me go across to Dr. Lubna now.
But Nupur Sharma is still out.
Dr. Lubna and then Sujata Pandey. Wait.
Why doesn't the police
let Dr. Lubna speak, no?
I'm saying, if you know that there's a pattern, firstly, Deshritan Nigam sir's facts, we all know about the Taj Mahal fact which he had put up on some TV channel 7 or 8 years back. So I don't want to comment about his facts. The second thing is that if you know that there's a pattern, if you know that there are posters, where was the police all this time? Why did they let this happen? Where were the intelligence?
So police is taking action. Police is taking action. It is unearthing. Investigation is going on. You have objects to investigation. You are objecting to investigation. You are objecting to investigation. You are objecting to due process of law.
Despite intelligence reports, despite posters, despite everything,
की सरकार है. लुबना जी, योगी जी की सरकार है, कोई बचेगा नहीं दंगाई. ये आप ध्यान में रखिए. पहली बात.
Fine, absolutely fine. No issues.
आप दंगाइयों को निर्दोष मत साबित करिए. विक्टिम कार्ड मत प्ले करिए यहाँ पर.
Not at all, sir. That is why I commented on your
facts. कोशिश कर रही हैं.
That is why I commented on your facts, because
अरे भाई,
Dr. Lubna, there were posters put out. That's a fact. Dr. Lubna, if there were posters put out, that was a fact. And there was. No, let me speak. Let me. I'm coming to your point, ma'am. I'm coming to your point, Dr. Lubna. If there were posters, there were protests. There were posters for a protest, ma'am. And this country entitles everyone to protest and put forth their point. Dr. Lubna, listen to me. This country entitles everyone to protest and to put forth their points peacefully. The country doesn't entitle, the constitution doesn't entitle people to go on a rampage and go on and incite violence and arson. That is not allowed, ma'am. That is not allowed. And so when that happened, now action is being taken. And it will be taken appropriately. Is there a problem with that?
Why could not the police intervene right then between the peaceful protest and the violent protest? Where was the police at that time? There was the intelligence input. When arrests could have been made on the basis of posters,
the police,
why couldn't the police wake up at the right time?
Can I come and sit?
The police is not doing their job. Sujata ji, the police is not doing their job. Is there accusation that the police could have intervened? They did not intervene earlier. Sujata Pandey.
At the right time, yes. At the right time, the police should
I
have
think
intervened.
she's. I think she needs to be better with the facts,
let Sujata ji make a point,
because as per the timeline, the police did get in touch with Jafar Hasmi, the man who was the mastermind of all this. It was communicated to him that there is a prime minister in the city, there's a president in the city, there's an investor summit going on, and you should not do this band, etc. And you
so
should
you can see the
postpone it
police
to
in
February.
there's the picture.
There is police. Can't you? Police has been also injured.
Okay,
More than 15 policemen have been injured. The problem with these people is that they come on debates. Okay, they come on debates. They will blame everything. They'll blame the government. They'll blame the police. They will blame the spokesperson. They'll blame the religion. But they will never condemn the rioters. They do not have the courage to call out
that
each
has already
one of
been
them.
done. How many times do you want me to do that? How many times do you want me to repeat that?
जो दंगा करता है वो दंगाई
Not
है.
at all. All the writers should be punished.
But what they will do
All the
is
writers
they will
should be
cry
punished without
victim
exception.
card. They will cry one-sided victim card saying that, oh, we have been singled out. Oh, look, because he's wearing a skull cap, because he's been arrested or his posters have been put in, not because they're wearing a skull cap, because they were involved in a pre-planned riot. And I can prove you. Give me 30 seconds, Sujita. It was planned because see the timelines from the time Nupur Sharma made comments about Prophet to the time this third day this riot happened. Everything has been planned.
Yes,
WhatsApp messages have been shared. The locations have been shared. The sign and symbols, that I will drop the handkerchief and then someone will start. In hand carts, stone were taken, swords have been spotted, petrol pump, from the petrol pump, they filled the petrol with the everything. And there's a pattern, it's a very pre-planned.
Dr. Lubna, Huzefa wants to come in, let me go across to him, then I'll come back to you. Okay.
And absolutely same narrative.
There is a pattern and the pattern is going to be investigated, I'm sure. Let me go across to Huzefa once.
But that could have been stopped.
I'll come to you, Syed Masoodul Hasan.
If something is repeating,
it is happening. Posters have been put out. They'll be behind the jail. But then don't play the victim card. Don't cry here saying that Muslims are only, because if it is Muslim or it is Hindu, a Sikh or a Christian, जो दंगा करता है, जो पत्थर फेंकता है, वो सिर्फ दंगाई है.
Right. Now, Huzefa, what Sujata ji is saying, Huzefa Saab, what Sujata ji is saying very clearly, that writers have to be behind bars and there is no justification for what you're doing, be it Hindu or Muslim.
Yes, of course.
She's saying, when we can say this, why is the other side not saying this, Huzefa? Why is the other side not saying that? She's very clearly saying that.
आप वन साइडेड कार्रवाई क्यों करेंगी? आपकी पार्टी के नेता लोग कह रहे हैं कि भाई इन लोगों ने भी बराबर सुनिए, इनका वॉल्यूम डाउन कीजिए,
आप अनर्गल जी से पूछेगा, वॉल्यूम मेरा डाउन हो जाएगा.
सुष्मिता सुनिए, अभी आप जो अपनी स्क्रीन पे 40 फेजेस ऑफ राइटर्स दिखा रहे हैं,
बोलिए.
उसमें लगता है कि कुछ लोगों के चेहरे पे टोपी कम पड़ गई. मैं 200-250 टोपियां भिजवा देता हूँ आपको, तो वो टोपी अच्छे से पहना के दिखाइएगा ताकि नैरेटिव अच्छा जाएगा आपका, जो नैरेटिव बनाना है. और जहां तक कार्रवाई की बात कर रहे हैं, आप सोचिए कि लीची की फोटो डालने पे आपने गिरफ्तारियां करवा दी, 153 ने पता नहीं कौन सी धाराओं में मुकदमा करवा के जेल डलवा दिया. हमारे आजमगढ़ में शिवली कॉलेज के प्रेसिडेंट ने प्रोटेस्ट किया तो उसके ऊपर कितने मुकदमे ला के उसको जेल में डाल दिया गया सिर्फ प्रोटेस्ट करने पर. भाई प्रॉफिट मोहम्मद के खिलाफ अगर बोला तो प्रोटेस्ट करेंगे, हमारा राइट है. तो कार्रवाई हम पे होगी, मुकदमे हम पे होंगे, हम जाएंगे.
Protest is a right and no one's questioning that right. Why would you want to change it, give it another direction, Huzefa साहब? आप उसे अलग दिशा क्यों दे रहे हैं? आप विरोध करिए, आपका हक है सर, आपका हक है, वो कोई छीन नहीं रहा है, वो आपका भी है, मेरा भी है, हर नागरिक का हक है. लेकिन ये हिंसा फैलाना हक नहीं है ना, ये किसी का हक नहीं है, और इसको सही क्यों ठहरा रहे हैं आप?
मैडम
दूसरी साइड आप बताइए ना सर, बताइए, आपको इसीलिए तो बुलाया, बताइए कौन सी दूसरी साइड बता रहे हैं, बताइए.
आप ये दिखा रहे हैं,
ठीक है, एक मिनट उन्हें बताने दीजिए. मैम
कीजिए, आप वन साइडेड स्टोरी दिखा रही हैं, आप सिर्फ टोपी वाले चेहरे दिखा रही हैं, आप ये भगवे गमछे भी दिखाइए ना. आप ये भगवे कपड़े भी दिखाई।
नहीं मैम सर, मैं वो इसलिए दिखा रही हूँ क्योंकि पुलिस हैज पुट आउट पोस्टर्स. Police has put out posters of the ones creating mayhem there. It is not me, na sir. I am not putting posters. Police has put out a poster saying that these people and those visuals have been caught from CCTV images, sir. CCTV से तस्वीरें हैं उज़ैफा साहब, मैंने नहीं निकाली. पत्थर फेंक रहे हैं, पत्थर उठा रहे हैं, मार रहे हैं, तो क्या कहें उन्हें? शांति दूत तो नहीं कह सकती ना.
मैम सीसीटीवी फुटेज वहीं के निकलेंगे जो मुस्लिम इलाकों में होंगे या मुस्लिम फेस साइड होंगे. आप इधर की भी सीसीटीवी फुटेज निकालिए ना, इन वीडियोस को भी अपने कीजिए अपने चैनल पे, आप इसको भी कवर स्टोरी चलाइए. आप जो फेसेस दिखा रही 40 लोगों का,
सर आपने एफआईआर की,
भगवान रंग के कपड़े भी दिखाइए.
आपने भी
cry minority card. That's the only thing they know how to claim.
इस तरह आप कैसे करेंगे काम चलेगा? ये सुजाता पता नहीं कौन सी ये पॉलिटिकल एनालिस्ट है क्या है, ये सिर्फ आकर एक तरफा बोल रही हैं. इनको ये वीडियो दिखेगा ही नहीं.
आप दो तरफा बोल रहे हैं,
वीडियो ट्विटर पे
आप दो तरफा बोल रहे हैं,
250 वीडियो फेसबुक पे टहल रहे हैं. आप उस पर भी कुछ बोलिए मैडम. आप लोगों ने मुसलमानों का टीम समझ लिया, फुटबॉल समझ लिया,
भरोसा नहीं है,
कि पैर से मारते रहो.
आपको पुलिस पे भरोसा नहीं है, पुलिस ने जो वीडियो दिया है उस पर भरोसा नहीं है.
लगाते रहो
सर. ये आपके कमेंट्स जो हैं बिल्कुल अच्छे नहीं है.
ये पुलिस मुसलमानों पे कार्रवाई कर रही है.
साहब, these comments are very condemnable. Let me tell you very clearly.
पूछिए.
नहीं कोई इम्तिहान नहीं ले रहा, कोई इम्तिहान नहीं ले रहा. And these comments are very condemnable. And I am very clearly saying if the same thing has been done by people from any religion, they should be put behind bars. It is not acceptable, Uzaifa. It is not acceptable. You cannot take to the roads and you cannot create arson like this. मैं यही कह रही हूँ. आपके पास तस्वीरें हैं, आपके पास तस्वीरें हैं. You have proof. Go to the police and these people should be put behind bars. That's all I'm saying. I'm not even saying what is the religion of the person. Whoever is creating these pictures that are going on screen should be put behind bars is all I'm saying. Yeah, look at these visuals. Whoever is doing this, if these people are being identified through CCTV visuals, they should be put behind bars. They should be taught a lesson so that it is not repeated is what I'm saying. And it is as simple as that, and it applies to anybody, because we don't say Muslim rioters and Hindu rioters. We just call them rioters. We do not give a religion to rioters. We just say whoever has caused this should be behind bars. That's all I'm saying. And I don't think I'm saying the wrong thing. Masudul Hasan wants to speak. I'll go across to Mr. Nigam later. ठीक है. Let me go to मसूदुल हसन साहब कुछ बोल रहे हैं, उनको भी सुन लेते हैं. सर लिस्ट
अभी निगम साहब कह रहे थे कि जो कानपुर में राइट्स हुए हैं,
put that across.
अभी निगम साहब कह रहे थे जो कानपुर में राइट्स हुए हैं उनका एक पैटर्न है 1921, 1931 और जैसे कितने राइट्स उन्होंने बता दिए. क्या उन्होंने मुरादाबाद का 1980 का दंगा नहीं देखा? 2002 गुजरात राइट भूल गए? क्या मलिहाना के अंदर जो कुछ हुआ उसे भूल गए? क्या मेरठ के अंदर जिन लोगों को गोलियों से पुलिस ने भूना, 25 लोगों को जिनका मुकदमा चल रहा है, जिनमें पुलिस वालों को सजाएं हुई है, वो भूल गए, वो राइट से भूल गए. सारी चीजें भूल करके उन्होंने पैटर्न याद रखा मेरठ का और कानपुर का 1921 का 1931 का. उन्हें पैटर्न शायद बाबरी मस्जिद का भी याद नहीं रहा कि 1992 में किस तरह से राइट हुए. और दूसरी बात मैं यहाँ पे कहना चाहूंगा कि जो बात हो रही है कि साहब राइटर्स ने ये किया, राइटर्स वो किया, राइटर्स के ऊपर दे आर कंडेमनेबल, बट व्हाई डिड नॉट यू आर टॉकिंग अबाउट नुपुर शर्मा एंड नवीन जिंदल हु आर द मेन कल्प्रिट्स हु प्रोवोक द होल ऑफ द वर्ल्ड मुस्लिम कम्युनिटी. व्हाई वी आर नॉट टॉकिंग अबाउट देम?
I'll go across to Mr. Nigam. No, again.
मैं बताता हूँ. मैं बता रहा हूँ आपको.
कतर और कुवैत ने जब जगाया.
Masudul Hasan साहब, let me focus on these visuals because it's very important that we speak on these.
मैं सुचारिता जी, मैं इसमें जवाब देना चाहूँगा.
What I'm trying to say, Mr. Nigam. बोलिए सब बोलिए.
देखिए सुचारिता जी, पहले तो हमसे पहले जो अभी बोल रहे थे उन्होंने ये माना है कि यहाँ पैटर्न है और उन्होंने उस पैटर्न के जवाब में दूसरे पैटर्न की बात करी. आप बीच में ना बोले, प्लीज बीच में ना बोले, बीच में ना बोले. आप क्यों बीच में बोलते हैं? थोड़ा सा
There's a Hindu pattern and a Muslim pattern.
सभ्यता.
Come on.
सभ्यता दिखाइए थोड़ी सभ्यता।
Okay,
बीच में
Mr.
मैं नहीं
Nigam, Mr.
बोला
Nigam.
आपके, मैं आपके बीच में नहीं बोला था, इतनी सभ्यता तो होनी चाहिए। देखिए, there is a pattern and we have talked about it, and historically if you read, there are books on riots clearly written, and there is a huge amount of literature available on that. So we can have a discussion on the pattern on any day, any time, any place with the person, your panelist. Now, secondly, when he talks of Gujarat, he forgets how the car sevaks were roasted inside the train. He forgets that. Now we know that. Please don't फिर से उत्तेजित हो रहे हैं, आप क्यों उत्तेजित हो रहे हैं? शांत हो जाए। उत्तेजित क्यों हो रहे हैं? उत्तेजित क्यों हो रहे हैं भाई? आप शांत होकर सुन लेना, फिर जवाब दें, फिर जवाब दें। अरे भाई, फिर जवाब दें। बिना सुने जवाब देंगे कोई फायदा नहीं है। बिना सुने जवाब देंगे कोई फायदा नहीं है। बिना सुने जवाब देंगे मौलाना जी, स्कॉलर जी, आप बिना सुने जवाब देंगे कोई फायदा नहीं है, कोई फायदा नहीं है। आप पहले सुन लें। अरे भाई, पहले सुन ले तब जवाब देंगे। ऐसे कोई आपकी आवाज भी नहीं जाएगी, मेरी आवाज भी नहीं जाएगी। पहले सुन लिया करें, फिर तसल्ली से जवाब दें। आप इंटेलिजेंट जवाब दे पाएंगे, आप बिना इंटेलिजेंट जवाब नहीं दे पा रहे, ना कोई सुन पा रहा है।
सुन रहे हैं।
और पहले मैं आपको टाइमिंग की बात करता हूं। जो कानपुर का दंगा हुआ, नूपुर शर्मा ने कब कहा था, और उसके कितनों दिनों बाद, जुमे की नमाज के बाद ये दंगा होता है, जब आपके प्राइम मिनिस्टर, प्रेसिडेंट और सीएम उस शहर में है। वैसे ही जैसे दिल्ली राइट्स में ट्रंप का इंतजार हो रहा था, ट्रंप आएंगे तब करेंगे। तो साजिश का आप देखिए कितनी गहरी है ये। अगर नूपुर शर्मा ने जो कहा था तभी उसका अगर हो जाता तो लगता था कोई रिएक्शन, मैं मान सकता हूँ एक रिएक्शन है, जबकि वो होना नहीं चाहिए। तब भी यू हैव लॉ एंड ऑर्डर एजेंसीज अवेलेबल टू यू, गो टू द कोर्ट, बट टू से दैट to protect these rioters, to say that they are the one victims,
right?
Then you are wrong.
Mr. Nigam, let me go across to Geeta. Let me go across to Professor Geeta Bhatt. Professor Geeta Bhatt, I'm asking a larger question. Was there a conspiracy to disrupt law and order to what happened in Kanpur? Was there a conspiracy to disrupt law and order?
Well, Suchrita ji, definitely it appears that there was, the way the facts which are coming out, it is pointing that there was a conspiracy. It was, there were many larger forces which were at play, because otherwise it is not possible that suddenly so many people, they come armed with petro bombs and with stones, and they start this kind of an arson and rioting. Also, if you see that this pattern which is being talked about, if you remember during the anti-CAA campaign, at that time when the Chief Minister, Mr. Yogi, was to visit Kanpur, at that time also, these kind of, there was a conspiracy for rioting, for which there were allegations that PF5 was involved in it. In December 2021, the Prime Minister, Mr. Modi, had to visit Kanpur for the inauguration of the Kanpur Metro Rail Network. And at that time also, there was a conspiracy which was unearthed. There were FIRs which were lodged, and there were political parties. There were many workers of the Samajwadi Party, office bearers of Samajwadi Party also, which were found to be involved in it. So the point is that any time, and this time also it was the Prime Minister, President, the Chief Minister were, were there in the Kanpur, rural Kanpur, attending an event. So every time, the Prime Minister or the Chief Minister, if they are visiting that place, how is it? Why it happened?
So Dr. Lubna there, Geeta Bhatt really thinks that the police did not act earlier. So now that it is acting, now that it is doing its job, is there a problem, Dr. Lubna?
Just a minute. Why is everyone acting so late? There were posters before, several days ahead of this protest, which was supposed to be a peaceful protest. So if there were already posters over there and everyone knew about it, how is it that the police did not know?
Supposed to be a peaceful protest, ma'am.
If it was going to be turning into a violent protest, then the police, beforehand, they should have done something, especially when there were so many dignitaries over there. So many important people were there. So why couldn't the police do anything beforehand?
It was supposed to be a peaceful protest. If it was supposed to be a peaceful protest, then how the police would have known that it is suddenly going to turn? That means there is something that happened in a very short duration of time. A kind of a message was circulated. It appears so that a kind of a message was circulated to a large number of people, which turned out, that things became so violent. So now the police should take an action or not? Kindly inform me, do you think that now, since there was a riot, there was arsoning, should the police now go ahead, do an FIR, and those who are found to be responsible for it, they should be punished as per the IPC, Indian Penal Code? No, you please tell, do you think there should be an action on the rioters or not? There should be an action as prescribed.
So the police did not do anything. They did not take any action. They did not intervene.
Madam, you are not a judge.
They did not do anything.
There should be
the police did not do anything,
all the rioters,
but nor did the rioters. We're just painting them as rioters. Those visuals on your screen are from another country. Those people throwing stones are from another country. They're not Kanpur. This is not 3rd of June. This did not happen. The police painted a picture. Dr. Lubna, this is all in front of you. It is all in front of you what happened.
Yeah,
so we cannot be trying to put out excuses for what happened there.
Or videos of Chandeshwar ka hata, where the riot actually started? Do you have? Show me. And I cannot see any policemen in any of.
Okay, let me tell you, those visuals that are on your screen are the latest visuals of 3rd June that we've accessed, and we're trying to give you a sense of what really happened. Another set of visuals that has just surfaced is on your screen, and you can see where people of all age group. It is sad, but people of all age group seem to be involved. You can see young boys pelting stones. I mean, it is sad, but that is the truth. Even young boys are pelting stones. And what really went out through those messages that ignited this kind of anger all of a sudden, and was this all of a sudden, is the big question. Was it supposed to be like that? Because now WhatsApp chats have come out, and which clearly shows that there were messages being circulated of how things are being done, and that this needs to be reciprocated in other areas. Look at those visuals. Look at those visuals. It's the kind of anger that comes out and the kind of violence that is on the streets of Kanpur, and through another set of visuals that we've accessed. And this is exactly what I'm talking about. The kind of violence that was on the streets. The visuals that you're seeing, another clear set of visuals of 3rd June, and how we are seeing how these people are now, they were on the streets, they were igniting that violence, and here we have people on the burning question trying to justify it. I really don't think there's any justification on what happened on the 3rd of June. Any kind of justification for what you can see on these visuals. What was happening on the 3rd of June can be clearly seen. All age group people were throwing stones. There were kids, there were young boys who were throwing stones, and this is what really happened. And if this was not to disturb law and order, what was it for? What was it for if this was not for disturbing law and order, Uzefa?
This was on deliberate.
Okay, let me go across to Uzefa once. Dr. Lubna, let me go across to Uzefa once. जी बोलिए
मैडम, आप वन साइडेड स्टोरी दिखा रही है। फिर मैं वही बात कह रहा हूँ आपसे, मेरे फोन में मैं देख रहा था वो ट्विटर पे।
सर आप बार-बार ये कह रहे हैं वन साइडेड स्टोरी है, मैं आपसे कह रही हूँ आप दूसरी साइड दिखाइए ना सर, आप दूसरी साइड दिखाइए। और आप ये विजुअल्स जो आप बार-बार कह रहे हैं, अगर ये हुआ है सर क्रिया की प्रतिक्रिया होती है, an action has a reaction is what you've been saying for so long. So अगर if there is a mob, if there is stone pelting, tell me what will happen on the streets. We've clearly seen those visuals. बताइए ना सर, प्लीज बताइए, आप अपनी दूसरी तरफ की कहानी बताइए।
जुमा का दिन था, जुमे के बाद वहाँ पे लोग प्रोटेस्ट कर रहे थे, और जाहिर सी बातें करेंगे भी, जिस रिलीजन को वो लोग मानते हैं उसके मैसेंजर पे अगर इस तरह के स्टेटमेंट दिए जाएंगे तो वो बिल्कुल प्रोटेस्ट करेंगे। और जहाँ तक
ये प्रोटेस्ट है?
सुनिए
सर फिर आप वही बात कर रहे हैं, पीसफुल प्रोटेस्ट था ना सर, पीसफुल प्रोटेस्ट था, शांतिपूर्वक प्रदर्शन करना था, पीसफुल प्रोटेस्ट हुज़ैफा।
किन लोगों ने, अब सुनिए मैडम सुनिए, आप बोल नहीं देंगी, उधर से वो इंटरप्ट कर रही है, उधर से आप इंटरप्ट करेंगे तो मैं क्या बोलूंगा? फिर आप लोग को जो नैरेटिव चलाना, जो परसेप्शन बनाना बनाइए बैठ करके, फिर क्यों बुलाते हैं डिबेट में हम जैसे लोगों को, जब बोलना ही नहीं देना मैडम? तो
परसेप्शन नहीं है,
पटर बोले जा रही है बीच में बैठ करके। ये
बोलिए, आप बोलिए।
सुनिए, अब मैं वही कह रहा हूँ मैडम की कार्रवाई एक,
वो भी गेस्ट हैं, बोलिए
मैडम। कार्रवाई एक तरफा क्यों करेंगे आप? लीची की फोटो डालने पे आपने मुजफ्फरनगर में गिरफ्तारी कर दी, हमारे यहाँ शिवली कॉलेज में प्रोटेस्ट करने पे यूनियन के प्रेसिडेंट को उठा के जेल में डाल दिया, तमाम लोगों को गिरफ्तारी कर रही हैं। अभी हम कुछ बोल देंगे तो हम पे ऐसे लगा कि आप लोग जेल में डाल दोगे। तो इतना जुल्म मत कीजिए मैडम, इतना जुल्म मत करवाइए। आप लोग बैठ करके नैरेटिव चला रहे हो गवर्नमेंट का।
अभी हो गया,
जो आप कह रही बात कर रहे हैं, पुलिस की जो फोटोज आई हुई है उसको हम लोग दिखा रहे हैं।
कोई नैरेटिव नहीं है
मैडम, सवाल
कोई नैरेटिव नहीं चला रहे हैं हुज़ैफा, कोई नैरेटिव नहीं चला रहे हैं। और नैरेटिव चलाना होता तो आप इस डिबेट पे नहीं होते सर।
सुचेता,
आप मेरी बात लिसन टू मी, देयर इज नो नैरेटिव बीइंग रन, those visuals are speaking for themselves, those visuals are speaking out loud and clear हुज़ैफा साहब। मैं कोई नैरेटिव नहीं चला रही हूँ, नैरेटिव आपका भी जा रहा है और सुजाता जी का भी जा रहा है। So don't say that a narrative is being run.
मैं वही कह रहा हूँ कि
आप बोलिए ना सर, बोलिए एक बार सुजाता जी, let him speak, I'll come back to you. बोलिए, आप बोलिए सर, बोलिए।
कानपुर कमिश्नर ऑफ पुलिस को आप फोन कीजिए और उससे कहिए कि सर मैंने वीडियोस देखी है ट्विटर पे कि दूसरे पक्ष के लोगों ने भी पत्थर चलाए, क्या उन पे कोई मुकदमा दर्ज किया गया, क्या उन पे कोई कार्रवाई की गई, या उनके घरों पर बुलडोजर चलाया जाएगा, क्या उनको गिरफ्तार किया जाएगा? आप कमिश्नर ऑफ पुलिस को तब लगेगा कि आप जर्नलिस्ट दिखा रही हैं, आप सेंटर में है, आप वन साइड।
हुज़ैफा साहब, आपने एफआईआर करवाई है इन फोटोज पर?
मुसलमानों ने दंगे
नहीं, हुज़ैफा साहब आप मुझे मत बताइए मैं क्या जर्नलिस्ट बन रही हूँ या नहीं हूँ, मुझे आपसे तो सर्टिफिकेट नहीं चाहिए ना सर। एक मिनट हुज़ैफा साहब, मेरे पास मुझे कोई सर्टिफिकेट नहीं चाहिए आपसे, पहली बात। और दूसरी बात ये कि आपके पास विजुअल्स हैं, आप क्यों नहीं जा रहे एफआईआर कराने? आप यहाँ बैठकर चीख करके आप नहीं करेंगे, ये विजुअल्स है ना आपके पास, प्रूफ है ना आपके पास, जाइए। मैं तो आपसे कह रही हूँ अगर आप विजुअल्स होते हुए नहीं जाएंगे तो आप गलत कर रहे हैं, आप गलत कर रहे हैं। इफ यू हैव द एविडेंस यू आर नॉट गोइंग टू द पुलिस, आप गलत कर रहे हैं, ये बता दूं मैं आपको। यहाँ बैठ के दिखा रहे हैं बस बार-बार, देखिए मैडम, ये देखिए मैडम। अरे भाई जाइए, मैडम कह रही है जाइए पुलिस के पास, जाइए और दिखाइए।
सुचारिता जी, कानपुर पुलिस की वेबसाइट है।
Now there is another allegation now. There's another allegation now.
बड़ा चैनल चला रही है, इतनी बड़ी एंकर हैं आप
कानपुर पुलिस की वेबसाइट पे चले जाइए, कानपुर पुलिस की वेबसाइट पे चले जाइए, कानपुर पुलिस की वेबसाइट पे आप जाइए, कानपुर पुलिस की वेबसाइट पे जाइए, वहाँ कंप्लेंट करिए। आपको दिक्कत क्या होगा, आपको दिक्कत क्या होगा? कल को ये फेक निकलेगा, अरे कल को फेक निकलेगा तो आप पे कार्रवाई होगी, आप इसलिए नहीं जा रहे हैं। अरे भाई आप फेक, आप डर रहे हैं क्योंकि ये सारी फेक चीजें हैं जो फेक आप दिखा रहे हैं, तो आप पे कार्रवाई हो जाएगी। आप कानपुर पुलिस की वेबसाइट पे जाइए, कानपुर पुलिस की वेबसाइट पे, कानपुर पुलिस की वेबसाइट पे जाइए और कंप्लेंट करिए। कानपुर, अरे भाई, अरे कानपुर पुलिस की वेबसाइट अपने घर बैठ के कर सकते हैं, अपने घर बैठ के कानपुर पुलिस की वेबसाइट पे जाइए, कानपुर पुलिस की वेबसाइट है।
I'm going to take a quick break and be back. Okay, coming back on burning question after the break. Let me go across to Mr. Nigam. Mr. Nigam, Huzzaifa has a complaint to make and he thinks that there are other videos which are not being taken under consideration. Police is not acting on them. Now, I'm very clearly telling him this, that he needs to go and present this as proof. And whoever is behind this kind of violence needs to be meted out the same outcome as any rioter would. Mr. Nigam.
सुचारिता जी, now if somebody starts, एक मिनट शांत हो जाए, सारी बातें आपकी साफ कर दूंगा, अभी सारी बातें साफ कर दूंगा, चिंता ना करें। देखिए, let us be very clear that why an FIR is not being filed, because the person knows that he is not sure of the authenticity of the videos. Now suppose he files an FIR, it turns out to be a fake one, there is a chances that he will be prosecuted. So that is why he is afraid of doing it. Secondly, let me tell you, there is a Kanpur police's website which he can, from his home, he can file a complaint and upload these videos, which he's not doing. So he is showing you everything on television. He is not doing anything else. Now, secondly, now somebody starts a riot and throws stones at your home. Then there is a right of self-defense also. Please understand, the law provides you with the right of self-defense. In defense, not to attack somebody, but to defend yourself. That is what probably may have happened. I'm not saying it has happened. It has not happened. अरे जो शुरुआत करता है वो अटैक करता है, याद रखिए. जो अपने को बचाता है उसको डिफेंस कहते हैं. ये बड़ा सिंपल सा है. और जो वीडियो दिखा रहे, अरे वो वीडियो दिखा रहे, वो जुमे की मस्जिद में जब नमाज हुई उसके बाद राइट हुआ है.
Masoodul Hasan is saying something. Let me go across to him.
He is justifying the Bhagwa stone pelters. Nigam Saab is justifying the Bhagwa stone pelters. And let me tell you that I myself, on the very next day when this Nupur Sharma gave a statement on the national channel, I myself.
No, sir, why is he justifying the Bhagwa? Who are the Bhagwa stone pelters? Who are the Bhagwa stone pelters? I very clearly said right at the beginning that there is no religion for rioters, sir. There is no religion for rioters. Masoodul Hasan, I am being very clear on this. When there is violence happening on the streets, this is a street in India. This is a street in India, Masoodul Hasan. And whoever will take to violence needs to be given the proper treatment. It does not matter. I'm not even calling out the religion of people who are doing the violence there. Who are involved in that violence.
मैंने तथ्य दिए. I gave you the facts. अरे भाई, I said there is a possibility. There is a possibility. If somebody throws stones at you, you have a right to self-defense. They did not start. It started after the Friday namaz. It started from the Friday namaz. So who started it? Who threw the petrol bombs?
Okay, Sujata ji wants to come in.
I can tell you one thing, sir.
ठीक है. Let's not.
I'm taking like a
Lubna, I'll come to you. Sujata ji wants to speak.
When the police will take action on the rioters, whether Hindu,
let's Masoodul Hasan. Masoodul Hasan, I very well made a point right at the onset of this debate that disrespect to any religion is a no.
When police will take
disrespect to any religion is a no. I said that right at the beginning. But at the same time, the violence on the streets in any street in the country is also a no. That is what I'm trying to say. Sujata ji, make your point.
You have to
Sujata ji, then please take Sujata ji and
you have to intervene. Please, we can't be talking to. No, we can't be talking all the time. Okay. So when strategy, one thing I can promise you on this national debate, when the police will start taking action on the rioters, all the people who have been involved, we will come to know whether they are Hindu, whether they are Muslim, whatever. But you will see the same victim card from these people saying that only Muslims have been singled out and only actions have been taken against them. Because this has been a pattern. There was this pattern when the bulldozer ran on the terrorists. There was a pattern when the bulldozer ran on the corrupt netas. There was a pattern, the same pattern when the bulldozer ran on these rioters. And this same thing will be repeated. This is a toolkit. I can tell you this is a toolkit. This riot, inciting riot, when something big is happening, when media houses are present, when foreign delegations are present, when things are supposed to be covered on national platform and go level, this riot happened. This happened in Delhi when Trump visited. This happened in Kanpur when all the biggies from the global economy and the national platform were present. This is done to create the narrative card of the minority. You know, the minorities have been sidelined, the minorities have been harassed, etc., etc., etc. To paint a single story of the coin, to show that how things are bad under Modi government, how things are
about it beforehand.
Police is doing. Don't worry. And I will see you here in this debate. I will see you here in this debate. Claiming only actions have been taken against people who are wearing skull caps. You know, I dare you on the next debate when the police takes action, you come on this debate and say that the rightful action have been taken because the police will have proof. And if you have enough proof, go to police station, lodge a complaint,
say this. I just want to say one thing, Dr. Lubna, and I want to say this to Zephyr also. Dr. Lubna, I just want to say this. If there are visuals of people carrying stones on carts, big stones on carts, distributing them, telling people to throw them, those visuals have been caught on camera, ma'am. And if there are any set of such visuals which are still not in public domain, please bring them out, ma'am. Dr. Lubna, you have visuals of people carrying stones on carts which have not been seen by us, ma'am. Please enlighten, please give it to us.
Don't come here, cry here.
No, because there are no such visuals, ma'am. I haven't seen it and I am saying that please show them to us, no?
Please go.
This seems like a pre-planned meditative. This was a pre-planned conspiracy, ma'am. No one carries stones and big blocks of stones on carts. And no one invites people to come and pick those big stones up from carts. If this is happening, then it is premeditated.
They will still justify because it serves their purpose. Otherwise, what is their identity? The entire identity is based on religious appeasement. The entire philosophy is based on religious appeasement. What else is they can come here and debate on what capacity she can come and talk about anything else? It has to be on the minority singling out. It has to be. देखिए आप जो बार कह रहे हैं वो मामला खत्म हो चुका है. Party has taken a stand. Nupur has rendered an apology. Now
Okay. One at a time. All three of you are speaking together. One at a time. Let me go across to Geeta Bhatt. Professor Bhatt. Let me go across to Professor Bhatt. All three of you have had your say. Professor Bhatt. Professor Geeta Bhatt, all I'm saying is that any kind of rituals, and I do not know to what religion that person belongs. I'm saying if I were to see somebody carrying a cart with big stones on it and distributing them to people to pelt those stones, I would know that this has been planned. It's a conspiracy. It was to create violence. This is something that a sane individual would think. Professor Bhatt.
Well, Sucheta ji, absolutely right. I think it is very clear if anyone is trying to, not only take law and order in their hand, but rather going ahead and in a very pre-planned manner, is trying to disrupt the law and order in a particular area in a city. It is something which definitely is questionable, and it needs to be reprimanded as per the law of the country. And hence, I would request that we together as a society, as the citizens of this country, whosoever is there who is trying to disrupt the peace of the society is getting indulged into rioting, taking law and order in their own hands, is something which needs to be reprimanded in the most proper way, and the law should take its own course. And we all as a society should come together unitedly and condemn it. Why is it that we need to,
that is exactly what I'm saying.
That what is the religious identity of a person who is getting indulged?
Exactly. That is exactly what I'm saying, Professor Bhatt.
In trying to disrupt the peace of the society.
Yes, because rioters do not belong to any religion. We don't have Muslim rioters and Hindu rioters in the country. We just have rioters. So let's just call them out in unison is what I would say. Thank you so much to everyone for joining me on the Burning.